do you think we're going to see here?
Well, Nestor Taffur has just been a guy that's been just right at the threshold for so many years. Can't break through. He's ranked this year. You know, he has a career record of 83 and 45, so he's come around. He's actually turned the corner the last year. And, Carl Adams is looking for big things from Taffur this year. And then on the other hand, you have Joey Napoli, who came in last minute, replacing St. John from Iowa. And, which, in a day notice, sometimes that's difficult. Tell us about that, Wade. If you're not prepared or you're not mentally prepared to perform in an event like this, how does that affect you, or does it not affect you if you're a true, competitive guy and a champion?
Well, usually what I find is guys that have taken 4th, 5th, 6th at the NCAAs are just a little bit, just a notch off the ones that are taken 1st and 2nd. And that notch is usually between their ears. It has nothing to do with their skill level, their strength, their speed. It's just they're not quite as tough mentally. And sometimes when you have a one-day notice, that works for you because you haven't had a whole week to get worked up over the match.
That's a great point.
You just come in and shake hands and go. I mean, what the heck? Get out there. Napoli's been very, very good for quite a few years for the Mountain Hawks at Lehigh. Anybody is a good competitor. You give them 3 minutes notice and give them a singlet, they're out there. Give me 30 seconds to warm up and I'll go.
Especially when you're at this level, Kai. When you're at this level at the college game, and listen, you savor these opportunities. You chomp at the bit to have an opportunity. I mean, if you get called at the last minute, doesn't matter when. You're absolutely right. These guys are. I mean, what an unbelievable honor to be asked to perform and to compete in this event.
Well, these are things, when you're done, when you're 20 years later and you have 2 children. Hey, Daddy, how'd you do when you were in college? Well, I was a 2-time All-American. I was chosen as the one of the top 2 guys in the country to represent, my school at the NWCA All Star Classic. These are things they're not like medals on a wall. There's things you just can't, intrinsic things you can't take away from a person. He goes to bed at night and he feels a little better about himself, and he looks in the mirror in the morning, what he did when he was an athlete, now what he's doing in business, what he's doing as a father, as a husband. And wrestling, gives you so much, and it's a nice feeling.
It really is, and we've expanded on that in our conversations on how, the sport of wrestling it not only is a sport and a competitive sport, it teaches you so much about life, and discipline, self-esteem, work ethic. Some of the things that we have spoken before we went on the air about. I mean, Wade, and it transcends sport, the sport of wrestling.
Well, wrestling's not a sport; it's a lifestyle. And, there's a lot of things to talk about that as a lifestyle, but I'm not sure this is the location for it. But it is more than a sport, an opportunity to keep our bodies in great shape. We have 35% obesity in our children today. You don't find that in wrestling. We have a lot of different things. You had something to say? You want to talk about scores?
Yeah, just, the end of one period, 0-0, and Taffur takes down. But continue what you were saying, Wade. This is very important.
Well, I'll go back to that in a second. We get a dry spot, but right now Taffur's got to get off the bottom. When he does, I think when he gets that 1 point, now he has the lead. Now Napoli goes, oh darn, he's got to start coming and open up. I think we're going to see a lot more wrestling here than we did in the first period. They were feeling each other out. Now there's a point on the board. Someone's winning, someone's losing. Pressure's on the loser. The pressure's on the winner to keep that position. And there's going to be some more shots here that we didn't see earlier.
Yeah, well, Taffur, Taffur has been controlling that Russian tie-up. He's been really trying to put some things together and set up Napoli. Napoli is a very hard-nosed kid. He's got good position. He's got good head position. He's hand-fighting really tough out there. And this is a good one.
I haven't seen an offensive shot out of Taffur yet. He gets that Russian 2-on-1. It looks like he's just happy to hang on to it, which neutralizes Napoli. He's back to the Russian 2-on-1 again. Let's see if he can throw it by and turn it into something. One of our prelim matches, a young man had that from American University. He was turning that into ankle picks and throws and headlocks. It was just a great offensive bout early on in the preliminary matches. Taffur has to do some more, open up a little bit more from there.
Do you tend to be a little more conservative in these matches? I know you've wrestled all over the world, and you've wrestled. Do you tend to be a little more conservative when you know who's in front of you is capable of capitalizing on your mistakes, or the mentality? I know what the mentality should be. It should be, I'm going and I'm going to take this guy down and I'm going to be aggressive. But at the same time, is there that underlying that underlying thought in the back of your head? I need to be conservative. I don't want to make a mistake.
Well, you have different types of wrestlers out there. You get a Ramos, a Steve, or a Taylor. They're going to come after you regardless of what it is. They have confidence about their shots. They know they can get in. They know they can finish, and they're going to come after you, and you're going to put points on the board. Other kids, sometimes they shut it down. I mean, Tony Nelson, he's an outstanding two-time NCAA champ at heavyweight. But, I think last year, he had 23 matches where he won by 3 or less points. He's a master at keeping it close. Sometimes they're yawners, but he gets his hand raised and he knows how to win.
At the end of 2, 1-0 to 4. Nestor Taffur up 1-0 over Joey Napoli of Lehigh. Napoli chooses down in the 3rd period.
Taffur trying to throw a leg in. Napoli's not going to have anything to do with that. Pushing back, getting his weight back underneath him.
We need to watch coming over the top there.
He's out.
It's a bad position.
All right, we got out. Looks like he might turn this in reversal. No points for an escape, though.
He's got that leg hook, Wade. Very close to getting that reversal.
As soon as that hand goes near side of the face, you're going to see 2 come up.
He gets the reversal. 2-1 for Napoli.
Now he's got the bow and arrow. He's trying to figure for the leg. If he does that, it's going to be a little painful. What do you think, Nick, about the different programs? I mean, we're once something from Boston University where they don't quite have the wrestling room. They don't have the schedule quite what Lehigh has. How do you think that impacts what's going on out there right now?
I think it does impact, because when you wrestle against some of these teams out there in Oklahoma State, in Oklahoma, Iowa, you become battle tested. That pressure, that intensity level every single time you go out on the mat does help you. And here we have a very interesting position. If Taffur can get that leg in there and get a Merkle, he's got a reversal here. If he can get that leg, limp that leg out and hook in. 23 seconds left, 2-1 Napoli. And right now, Napoli, it serves his best interest right here to just stay right there.
Well, just as we said earlier, the previous match, kill the time at the edge, keep your bounce, your win and stay in bounce.
This is big right here. He's got to get this point. He's got to explode off the bottom. But, I do think the schedules help a guy. Obviously rooms are important and your partners are important, but I think schedule has a lot to do with it also.
Well, riding time will not be a factor here. It's just whether he gets out and we go into overtime or Napoli rides him out for the win. What he's doing, he's got to get 1. You can't go back and try to get 2 in that situation. He's going to hang on and ride the timeout. You've got to break free and take it into overtime.
This was a very, very calm match up until this last 10, 15 seconds. And I know a lot of people are pulling for Nestor Taffur here to get out and tie it up and put it into overtime. Oh, almost at the end. Nestor Taffur almost hooks his leg, steps his leg out and gets that reversal. Hey, you got to give it to Joey Napoli. Comes in short notice, gets a win against a very tough guy in Nestor Taffur. Very entertaining at the end. That last 15, 20 seconds of that match was entertaining for the crowd.
Yeah, no question. Good match at the end.